And I think you're going to see a lot of that where you have, I know a company right now that's doing a dual energy intra workout and intra energy, a dual energy pre-workout. And you're going to see a lot of those intra workouts. But the thing is, when we came out with Ritual PM at Ambrosia, which was one of the first non-keto ketone product, it wasn't geared towards the keto dieters. It was just a healthy coffee add-on to start your day. And made it taste delicious, put MCT in it, Velositol. I love Velositol. I want to talk more about that. And when we put it in there, our whole thing is, wait a second, if ketones, when people are on the keto diet, they're like, they say, yeah, I might have, but man, I felt so mentally sharp. And that's not because you're not eating bread. That's because you're getting those ketones. And when you're on a keto diet, your body's already producing them. So you're just adding more, but it's the same fuel source. But when you have ketones and you have glucose, your brain actually prefers ketones. They did a study on this. And if you have, I think it was half the ketones of the glucose, and your brain still use 65% of the fuel from ketones. So people argue, well, your brain prefers glucose. I'm like, that's because it's there. But when you give your brain both of those energy sources, it actually prefers the ketones. It will go to those first. So when you combine those energy sources, let's say you run out of ketones or vice versa, you run out of glucose, you got a whole new energy source to power you through your workout, through your day. And remember, your brain needs a lot of that stuff. And that's why it works for concussions. It gives your brain another energy source to help with the recovery process. It's really, for me, it just made sense at the time. This back in 2017 that, why would I? In fact, I would think it's better without being on the keto diet. I would think it's tenfold better just from a logical standpoint. You have two fuel sources.
Yes.
Like you have a hybrid right here. Like you're done using gas, the electric engine kicks in, you're good to go. So that was just always my perspective on that.
That's exactly how I think about it. And I'll go one step further to like kind of say, like you can have full glycogen stores, right? Like when you go keto diet, you lose all of that glycogen and you're like you're flat, but your brain will typically feel really great when you have that ketone like fuel. But when you're able to have both, you can have your pasta dinner before the competition and have the ketones. It's like this dual energy where you can, I just personally, I've utilized it in that way a lot. I think your son wrestles, right?
Yeah.
So I did a jiu-jitsu competition last year. And I did a lot of work on like my VO2 max, my conditioning, but also my strength work around it. And I utilized that like dual fuel as a way to always manage that. Like I was always carbed up, and then before competition, I'd be throwing in ketones for my brain.
Yeah. For my kids, like both my kids wrestle and one plays football. So I have them on BHBs 10 grams a day year round and creatine for the head protection. Cause wrestling, man, we had 2 kids break their neck this year in Tennessee. I mean, it's a hard, dude, sports are dangerous. They are. And I realize that every time you step on the field, you step on the mat, you're at risk. But especially my 12-year-old who's a dog, like he's bringing the problem with football is the better you are, the more you can get hurt because you're delivering this impact and somebody else might be as good as you. They deliver that impact. So even at 12 years old, like my son is so explosive that he's delivering some friggin' really cool hits that look good on video. But I'm like, as a dad, I'm like, should we check him? Should we do the eye test? Like, look at my finger. And so, but it does give me a peace of mind that, we know enough now where we're like, okay, here's your 5 grams of creatine a day. He puts in his shake every day. We give him, a few grams of the BHB salts a day. And he'll suck down one of those Let's Go packets before a game. So it's for me, it's just a peace of mind that, and I wish I didn't know about BHBs when my daughter played soccer because her senior year, once you get one concussion in soccer, because you're taking the ball out of the air, you're falling, you're hitting the ground. There's more concussions in soccer than football. People don't realize that.
Wow.
And I wish I would have known about that because her recovery was tough. The first concussion, man, she was messed up for a few days. And we have had some kids come to our facility, Legacy at Carbon in Franklin, Tennessee, that, man, they'll be out for 3-4 weeks, can't look at light, can't do any ballistic movements. So from just a protective standpoint, I believe every child should be on creatine and BHB. I believe every adult, everybody with Alzheimer's. And, it's one of those things where there's stories of people with Alzheimer's, and the creatine's been a known thing, but you have, again, if you're able to feed that brain, it just really alleviates some of those symptoms from a longevity standpoint. And it's also critical to point out before we change topics that if something has ketone in the product name, it might not be a ketone.
Yeah.
There are keto products out there that use something called 1,3-butanediol, which is actually an alcohol, which converts to be ketones in the liver. Potentially, it should. The problem with that is, number one, it's converting in the liver like an alcohol, so it's got some hepatotoxicity issues. And another issue is that it eats up all your ATP, which is one of the main benefits of ketones. It eats up all that ATP through the conversion process. So you will have ketones in your bloodstream, but you're losing a lot of the benefits that ketones bring to the table. So, the best-selling ketone products say ketone on it, but don't have one ketone in it.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was something I wanted to touch on. And I think that could be the biggest danger to ketone products overall, because they have been so marketed so well, even though they don't actually contain exogenous ketones.
Yeah.
When I talk about the problem with that, a lot of the people like who even really understand endurance sports have come to speak poorly on ketone supplements, because these products flat out don't work for athletes. If you take it expecting the benefits that we're talking about today, you're not going to get them. You're only going to get that with actual exogenous BHB ketones. So I'm working as hard as I can to move this into like a better communication standpoint where people understand to look for BHB. But it's kind of scary right now, because a lot of the endurance market are kind of burnt out on ketones, because those products, they're marketed so well, they don't work well at all.
What's really fascinating is they sell it as a healthy alternative to alcohol, as well as selling it as a performance aid. I mean, which one is it?
Yeah.
That's a fascinating crossover. It's like, hey, it gives you a buzz, and then, hey, it makes you bicycle further. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's the good thing. People know about ketones, so they're doing the marketing, and then they're getting people aware of the benefits of ketones, because they're basically saying the benefits of ketones. But again, they don't have, and they got a great contract with the military that gave them a lot of money to market this and gave them some data. But unfortunately, when push comes to shove, you want to get the bioidentical ketone, and that's going to be Go BHB. Yeah. And that's the one you want. That's the only one you could buy. The patents are so tight. If it doesn't say Go BHB, it's filing a patent, and that product's probably going to be gone really fast. For those of you who've been sued by patent people, I have. Yeah, don't bring up that. we've all been in our share of lawsuits, Ben.
Yeah,
but
people had them. I think I remember you making a joke about this earlier. Like, there are definitely good, bad there are bad patent trolls, and there are good people who understand like what they really worked for, and there's nothing wrong with enforcing that.
No, and I actually understand it. Look, without IP, you have nothing, and you have to control the quality. You have to control the distribution. And there's a necessary for IP to exist, but the people who just buy a patent, never come out with a product, and just sue people, those are patent trolls. But someone simply enforcing their IP, that's not a patent troll. That's someone who wants to, those are the people spending. I don't think people also realize the value of IP is how much studies cost. To run a study, you're looking at, if you know a guy, you're looking at least, 6 figures, 150, 200K. If you're doing a large scale study, you're looking at any upwards of $1 million. So the IP you're paying for, like Creapure, Alzchem deserves all those patents, because they deserve all the protection in the world, because they have spent so much money on thousands and thousands of studies and funding these studies. Well, you can't trust study if they fund it. Well, who's going to fund its study then? Like, nobody's going to, if you don't self-fund it. I always tell people this, well, can't trust that study because this guy funded it. I'm like, or do you want to fund it? Like when I did that branch chain study in 2009, I'm like, dude, the study, look at this. This is amazing. It was a decent sample size. And I read out the results, and I even did it. I tried to make it hater proof. I did it at the College of Charleston and with Stepani and the Weider Research Group. So it was 2 separate groups doing the same study, not talking to each other, double blind. And people were like, well, you funded it. I'm like, who else is going to fund the study? I've been waiting for 10 years for someone to fund this study, and no one will fund it. I had to do it.
You're right. Didn't the Stepani study come up with like a ridiculous amount of lean mass increase?
So that's the thing is that I didn't. So Stepani had no skin in the game,
I'm
and
not putting
honestly,
you on this, by the way. I just remember. I remember
it was
his study
retarded.
had, like a
It was to the point where I'm like, Jim, what is this? And Jim's like, Mark, I'm surprised too, because he, again, it's double blind. And when he gave, and it was, and also Dr. Timothy Sheet, who I think his reputation speaks for himself. He was the co-author of the study, and you can find it on PubMed. I can send it to anybody who wants it. But it was, it was standardized training and diet. Chuck Rudolph did that. And he put everybody on the same diet based on their body weight or some body weight extraction. And then we had the same training program. It was 4-day-a-week split. And it was for hypertrophy. So it was a hypercaloric diet. And the amino acid group, or the extend group, which isn't my product anymore. So but it's still, he was using, literally, I'll tell you what, we sent orange flavored extend off the floor because that's the only flavor we had left. We were sold out at the time, literally out of stock in the warehouse. And it was extend versus Scivation Whey, our other products. So again, we're not going to fudge. Either way we win, versus a placebo, which is Gatorade. So the branch chain group, again, don't fall out of your chair, gained 9 pounds of lean mass in 8 weeks and lost 4 pounds of fat. So the whey group gained 4 pounds of lean mass and lost 2 pounds of fat. The carbohydrate group, all standardized 14 grams of each, gained 1 pound of lean mass and lost 0 fat. And if you think you're shocked at that, imagine me. I'm like, this is too good. No one's going to fucking believe this. Yeah. But it legit, I will swear on my children's lives. I will swear on a Bible. Those are the results. And whether we can replicate that, I'm not spending another $200K to do it. If someone wants to refute it, I'm going to run into the sunset with those results. I don't feel like spending more money on an ingredient I don't even sell anymore, really. So again, if you want to disprove it and you got a lot of money, go ahead. I'm not going to spend 150, 200K to disprove myself. So
it reminds me of when you sell products and promote them, though. It's like, who else is going to pay for this study? If people don't fund science, science
crazy.
Doesn't get, like, there is no doctorate student that's like, I want to find out, like this niche question about these amino acids that no one cares about. Like, science does not occur without funding, and that we have to stop. We have to start looking at the quality of the study and stop just complaining about the funding.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I didn't believe it either, but it's really what happened. And I don't know, again, studies, it's all about the sample groups, but they were randomized, and everything was accounted for. Hypercaloric diet, 4 days of hard training. And that's what happened. And Jim Stepani had and he doesn't even really sell aminos. So he wasn't doing it for himself. Right. And, say what you will about Jim, like, he's a good scientist. And when he did studies, he was really good at it. Dr. Timothy Sheet, really good guy, College of Charleston, not a bad university to do studies at. So, hey, man, again, it was almost too good. I think we would have sold more if it was like half as good.
Yeah.
But again, like, I put my money where my mouth is. People were like, branch chains don't work. I'm like, cool. How much does it cost to do a study? And we did it. So I want to ask you about Velositol.
Okay.
I love that shit.
It was in that bar you made, I remember.
I made it. Might bring it back out. So Velositol doubles the power of your protein. It has, I also have it in hydroglyph as well. Doubles the power of your protein. It has some effects because it's a chromium derivative. Mm-hmm. What is your opinion on Velositol? Am I off base in thinking it's cool, or do you think it's a cool ingredient?
I think it's cool, and I think it's misunderstood. I think Velositol is misunderstood and underappreciated for what it really is, because in the acute, it supercharges your protein absorption.